So that's pretty interesting, right? So I think next week I'm going to cover a little bit. Since since we are a fully online course, right? I have a lot of flexibility in terms what I can do week to week as the course progresses. Typically, these courses are programmed to be 15 section courses, including the exams. But since this is an online course, the exam is going to be online. It's not like I have to give up a classroom session to the exam. And since we don't have religious holidays where we miss classes, Monday, for instance, is Labor Day. I missed class and a missed day in another class I have. Since we don't have that, we really have more like 16 or 17 weeks over the course of the semester to get our 15 weeks in. So I have a little bit more flexibility in terms of, how we handle this material. So I think most likely what I'll be doing for next week is on Tuesday, I'm going to be presenting some new material, right? And I'm going to call that week probably week 1A so that I can present some new material to you. But it's not going to be like a full jump for another week. And on Thursday, I'll have some other stuff that may not even be in the class videos, it may not be necessarily in much detail on the syllabus, but I think that we really need to cover. For instance, I'm not sure that in the syllabus it mentions adjustment of data and standardization of data, for instance, age adjustment for data. And I want to go over an exercise that involves that. So when you see it or when you have to do it, you recognize it, you understand what standardization of data or age adjustment, things like that, what they do and how they work. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe next Thursday we'll devote at least half of the class to age adjustment or standardization, and the other half to, by that time, I think I'll get some questions. Okay, so I think that's enough for tonight. I hope that'll give you a little bit more of a preparation for some of the stuff that we're going to do moving forward, at least as far as that's is concerned. And maybe encourage you to go in there and just play with it and so on. Are there any questions I can answer before we call it a night? Anybody have anything that they're concerned about? How about the course? Is there anything about the course that you're concerned about? Yeah, matter of fact, I'm recording it right now. What I'm going to be doing? Oh, you want to know something? I'm glad you asked about the ethics course. First question. Recording the course. As soon as we're done, it's going to be saved. I need to convert it so I can put it on YouTube. So within 24 hours, I'll have it back up on YouTube. What's that unhappy face about? What is that? What is that? It can't be that bad. We can't be that far behind. Yeah, well, I think I think you know how it is. Some people like broccoli. Some people don't like broccoli. So I'm sure there's a few students out there that just say, "Yeah, wow, this looks pretty interesting." But yeah, I'm sure there's just as many as saying and have your feeling exactly. Okay. The same course with, oh, you mean the city program course? I'm surprised. I found it pretty interesting when I took it. Although I got to be honest with you, I'm not inspired to take it again. So, there's a lot of interesting stuff there. Yeah, but I'm glad you brought up the city program course because I'm going to be posting this later, and I'm hoping I can find it. Yeah, I put together this document, and on the city program course, what you're going to do is go to cityprogram.org, and the certificate that you are going to be taking is going to be a course in ethics and human research. Okay, and once you start reading about it, you'll understand why we need courses like this. And also, the other thing they'll acquaint you with is something called an internal review board. And anybody that does human research these days, any organization that does human research, a school or a drug company or something like that, they have an internal review board. Before you can work with people in your studies, they have to review how your study is structured and make sure that it's. After the tone. Whoops. Let me hang this up here.
To delete all old messages, press delete again.
I don't know how to make this go quiet. So at any rate, um, uh, you can use an existing city certificate as long as it's less than a year old. However, if it's 14 months, 15 months, that's okay. The point of a point of that is that presumably they have a lifetime of 3 years before you're supposed to renew them or recertify. Okay, and the idea here is that you're taking one of the early courses here, so it's likely over the next 2 or 3 years that you're going to be involved in some research that involves human subjects, or at least handling data that involves personal information for human subjects, possibly. Okay, so the Internal Review Board at Hunter and at School of Public Health, they want to make sure that you have taken this certificate course and understand the ground rules. Okay, so if it's more than a year old, you should take the refresher course, which is less. If it's borderline like 12 or 14, I'll probably let you fly under the wire. Okay, so that's the reason why you have to do this, because the Internal Review Board really requires that you be trained on this stuff, so that they don't have to worry, like when you take, so you don't fall through the cracks, that you don't get involved in, working on a study, and then they get into trouble and they find out that you haven't taken that course. So at any rate, so what we want you to do when you go on there and log on and create a user or whatever, make sure that you choose, or if you don't, this is for people that haven't already created a user for another organization. You can take the same course for another organization, obviously. But if you're a new logon, choose as the affiliation, choose City University of New York courses. Okay, then for the course type, then once you choose that, it'll take you to this table where you can choose to add a course, right? That now that you've shown your affiliation, and when you add a course, it'll give you about maybe 7 or 8 options that are free. All of these are free. If you get to some page where you're paying for something, you're in the wrong spot. Okay, so either one of these two, you want to actually take the human subjects basic course if you haven't taken it before, or the refresher course if you have taken any version of this before. Okay, and then once you've chosen that, then it'll ask you for a group or a curriculum that you're going to be interested in, that you're interested in taking. And the one that we most likely want is going to be for social and behavioral faculty, graduate students, and postgraduate graduate. But you can also take biomedical graduate students and postdoctoral, as far as I'm concerned. I would just choose the one that you think is going to be more useful to you. Okay. This was my, yeah, that's fine. Social behavioral is fine. Okay, but I would choose one of these two. They're probably almost all the same material. There might be a slight variation here. You might get a little bit more biomedical stuff there, but I think it'll cover almost everything that's in the social and behavioral as well. But I would just pick the one of these two that are most likely to be useful to you in the future. Okay, if you're a clinical researcher, and working for a drug company, maybe that one's better for you. Okay. So next week's session, yeah, next week it's gonna be in person. So yeah, I'm gonna actually be in school and do it there. You can watch online just like now. In other words, if you don't show up in school, you will get the same experience that you're having now. If you do show up in school, then you'll have FaceTime with me and you can ask questions live and so on and so forth. Okay, so I think that's enough for now. I'll see you guys. I'll post this to Blackboard so that we clarify some of the questions that have come up on that. So have a good night, and look for material again. Look for material around Tuesday of next week. It won't be probably like a full week's worth of material, but it'll keep us going. And then on Thursday we'll review some stuff again. I'm trying to keep pace so that this course doesn't get way ahead of or way behind the brick and mortar courses, so I can share a lot of material between them, especially if some good new stuff shows up in one of the other courses, can use it in the other course. So take care, guys. Good night.